We can review it then after if we have time.
That'd be great.
Everybody wants to do
I
that.
gave,
Yes.
I gave Mrs. Backus a piece of paper showing all the notices I sent out to the, within 2,000 feet of the site. So.
Is that in the, you should put that in the drive, just so we have the record.
I think we should, yeah, keep our records pretty clean. if we can.
I am, Mom, maybe.
We'll call the meeting to order then, the public hearing to order. And we have a quorum with everybody that's here. Bill Myers didn't say he wasn't coming. I don't know if that was just- might just be there. No, there's no public here.
Well, the public still has a chance.
How long do we have to say, is it like a professor, how long do you have to wait?
Well,
For
for
the
the
public to
professor, we
come.
wait 10 minutes. If they're not there,
Right.
you leave, right? So, what, and I don't have anything really planned for the meeting. I thought we could have it, would have the opportunity to part 2 and part 3 the secret today, but BNL hasn't reviewed it yet. So I was hoping that we could do that next Monday instead of Mead Road, because Mead Road isn't ready for us.
Okay.
We had it scheduled for 5 o'clock on Monday.
Yeah.
Is that what?
5 or 6?
6? It is 6. So
The
6 is-
25th?
No.
The 25th is at 5.
Is it
It's the
5?
following one that's at 6,
Oh, okay.
I thought it was 5.
Well,
which I
I think
believe
I
is
have-
August 9th, which we do need to talk about after the
No, we're gonna
meeting.
talk
Because
Okay.
John has a
Several
conflict.
conflicts with that.
Yes.
about
So let's go ahead then and review what the planning board said about County Route 11, or Route 11 on solar. You all didn't listen into what they had to say, right? It was quite a good discussion.
We didn't, but we got the comments.
Yeah. They typically, and John and I and Mike, we all listened in, and we were invited to listen, and so it was really an interesting discussion that they all had, I thought, didn't you? I think they had it in their heads that any solar project that was on prime land, that was more than 10% of prime land, they just automatically
Yeah.
said no. And they're holding a hard line to that. But when they looked at the area that you wanted to present on, they said it was mostly mucilage soil, and which is not a high quality soil, and there is no prime land involved,
It's fine.
right? It's prime if drained, about 52% of it's prime if drained.
Nobody's gonna be going hungry. And we talked about that last time with Mike, when we were with the Sheaslys.
Yeah,
And whatever, I mean,
but the Sheasleys, they also have prime land, the Sheasleys do. Some of it's prime.
some of it's prime and 42, if I get the thing was prime if drained.
Yeah.
And then the use of the land over the last 5 years or whatever, what has really been grown on it and what it will really produce.
Wetland going this way and a wetland going this way, you know how they're hating that? They're going like this between the wet spots. You know,
Sure,
so it's not
yeah.
really what I would call prime farmland.
And I think that's one of the reasons they approved this, is because there is a lot of wetland in there, right?
Yeah, and they preserve the best part of the field.
Which is good. So even though they put on here the conditions, and I know you looked at them, it said one of the conditions was that you needed to limit the disturbance of prime agricultural land to below 10% of the land. And since you're not using any, don't use it.
Sure,
You
yeah.
know, don't include any in it. And number 2, they wanted you to move the array so it meets the setback requirements of the commercial and rural zones. And I think that Barton and Lejeune also said that, to move it back, right?
Well, we don't.
Do you know where that is? Or should I look this up here?
Any question on
So your solar law for the solar facilities, this is allowable use in both of those zones. And your
It is.
solar law is 25 feet everywhere.
It is,
with
other
except
than
for the-
100 feet,
From a residence.
some in the adjacent
So
residential area.
we're using the solar law because that's what applies to this project.
So when they went, and I just, I've got so many, we all have so many of these in our heads. Where specifically were they talking about?
There's the northern line. If you look at your specific setbacks, for commercial and rural,
Yes, it is 25.
it's 75 and 100 for those. So we would have to take the northern property line up here. And this would have to drop back another 75 feet to meet that 100-foot setback. This is the commercial area. So we were using, you know, the 25-foot setbacks dictated by your solar law specific to this project. They're referring to district requirements. So I guess for us, the question is which should apply? Because we're following the solar law.
Our concern is the zoning law serves the solar bylaw.
Let me run it by our attorney, our solar attorney. I don't want to give you my opinion without,
sure.
because it really should be a legal
Yeah.
question, right? And he's pretty good at getting right back to you, so we'll run that
So
by.
I went read through the code just to make sure that your solar law didn't say these for the underlying district, whichever is more restrictive or something like that, which some do, and yours does not. So we stuck right by the solar law.
All right.
Our concern too is if number 2 takes precedent, then number 1 is gonna come into effect. If we're shifting a portion of the facility down,
Mhm.
it potentially could push some of this either out in more wetlands. We want to avoid this if this is the prime soils, but there could be an impact on the layout of the facility.
And please, I might add, if there's anything that I'm not saying, okay. Provide vegetative buffering around the array where needed to reduce the visual impact. I don't recall you having much for tree line.
Proposed, we don't have any just from the visual.
Right, you guys have sense, right, there's a tree line. There's still trees here, there's some tree line here. You'll see it through some of the tree line. But, you know, the other, like, to put in any plantings down through here, we would have to clear all the trees that are there. Right, so any brush or any of this that's there now, that's on our land would have to come out, and we would basically have to try and put them in between the property line and our fence over here.
What about the other boundaries?
This is all woods, you can't see through.
All right,
here
so
at all.
nothing there. What about?
I mean, there's some trees here you can see here along the rail, and then, you know, from up here to the rail below elevated, I think, so it's blocks it some. But there are some spots along here, I mean, some of our photos down here, you kind of see through a little bit. But, so I guess it's,
I think what I read too, their comment was that the purpose of that vegetative addition was to offset some of the clearing that we do down here.
Yeah. We wanted that. We
I-
talked about,
I was coming up today to do the drone footage and I can't find the ring. So I am gonna have that for you. I just wasn't able to get it, but depending on what we're clearing, we're under the assumption we're gonna verify that a lot of this is just scrub brush more than any type of.
but even scrub brush is a value.
Okay.
And it also helps with stormwater. Yeah.
So you're not gonna build any tree line on the east side?
Well, nothing's proposed right now.
Can you?
Nothing there.
On the east side?
On this side,
Mhm.
Right on the property.
That is, a
Fence is
possibility.
on
It looks like you've got some.
we do have
Yeah, I
tree,
don't
this,
know.
this here says, from the survey that we do have a wood line here.
Okay.
It's actually on the property line.
Well, in your number 2 photo simulation, you know, you show what it was gonna look like, basically.
I think what the survey is showing is this portion here, and then from here up to this.
and it might even be down lower. Right,
Yeah.
yeah, so like that brush you see on the survey is probably these trees you see the tops of, it's probably down a little bit where you're higher up at this vantage point. So
But you're not planning on putting anything.
we don't have, right now, we do not know, we have the fence, the 25 foot is to the rack, so we have the 25 foot
You
setback.
could put stuff.
We
in
could.
there. Yeah,
on that side.
and if that's one of the conditions, then you'll do it.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
They can't
And would you-
go
would you-
through-
Yeah.
Good point, yeah. Yeah, but would you really have to clear everything out? That's
I mean,
not change, would you
oh,
do that?
Not,
Absolutely.
Just any of the scrubby stuff that's in there, like if we were gonna try and plant anything that's gonna screen it, okay, if it's a greedy or something like that, it's gonna get caught. We gotta keep it narrow, right? Because we only have 25 feet.
Right,
We don't want it huge because we don't want to shade our panels.
right.
So.
But in that,
we would have to
in
clean it
that,
out.
in those gaps, you could put something, right?
If you go down destroyed.
Think about a Norway spruce, a
Something,
lot of people are doing
you know,
that.
less than cedars, so they end
The
up.
cedars.
They love cedars. You can't put cedars in
Cedar
there.
out there.
Right.
So,
They won't eat the Norway
Had
spruce,
some
but they get big.
Tall bushes.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We've had,
It wouldn't have to be real tall because you're kind of
What
looking
about
down.
something we've done on other sites where they've asked us not to use evergreen because they wanted it to kind of look the way it looks now, and they just want just like a row of evergreens on the middle of the farm field,
Mhm.
looking goofy right now, planted. We've used like sumac, and dogwood,
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
stuff
say
like
some of
that. It gets thick quick,
Mhm.
and it grows up, and it's something that if it started to head towards the array, they can just clear the backside on the inside, spacing.
it's very wild looking.
Yeah,
instead of-
I have some dogwood at my house.
Yeah, and it takes a little bit quickly to sumac to go.
Mhm.
Well, sumac grove here. I really don't see it.
My yellow spray dogwood all died.
Well, we can have a landscape architect look, but if
I know
you're
that's
leaning,
where I grew up, there's lots of sumac.
Yeah.
You have to make sure it's zoned for this area.
if you're leaning away from an evergreen type species, then we'll note that to the landscape architect.
And that type of planting that's more like lush, looks more like what's out there now, is something that they can maintain. Set on the inside, that it won't change the outside, whereas they're got a bunch of evergreen trees and then they're gonna start. to
Anyways,
They really, this is kind of a really tight solar array with your
Yeah.
setbacks and everything, you really, and your wetlands.
It's just funny because it's a big property, but after we added all the constraints, it really tightened up.
Yeah. Let me just see what they're talking about. Maybe the next meeting. Town solar energy facilities.
Yeah,
This-
bring that table, they
my-
went through like point by point by point. your entire code.
Well, in the solar energy facilities, specifically from St. Lawrence County Planning Board, there's only like 6 bullets. One was utility notification, you were compliant with that. Ownership change, provide a provision that accounts for ownership changes, right? Lease. We don't have a copy of the lease.
I think we should have it the very first time we do this, so I can submit it.
Apparently, we didn't
Yeah.
submit it to St. Lawrence County Planning.
Well, you may, this was back before last August. I think it was 2020.
Okay,
That was a while ago.
oh,
So
right.
I'll resubmit it so that we have a fresh copy.
the,
Northwood Solar Lease and Lease Option
You got
Package.
it.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah,
there,
that's-
right.
yeah.
July 2021.
Yeah, so it probably didn't get put in the package of stuff. You
They
said already
probably,
from our most
right,
recent
right.
submission.
Ed data statement, they said it was compliant, your site plan was compliant, your property operation and maintenance plan was not compliant, we didn't send them a copy of your O&M plan, do we have that? We didn't- we did it, right, I think. No, I don't know. Yes,
Maintenance plan, was that it? The long-term maintenance
Yeah.
plan?
operation maintenance, yeah.
We did update it.
You did?
This year.
It may be in here.
Because the code enforcement officer, I think, was old on there, so your name and number right here.
my name and number, yeah.
I don't see an updated version in here.
No, because see what, that's the.
That's the OneDrive. So we
when
have
you
the
submitted it in
original.
2021. And then when you updated the plans, you sent just the updated plan stuff.
So we're going to, going through these comments, make sure they cover, we have the letter from BNL now that we have to address, and they want a response back to, so they can have that. Obviously, it's sort of the DEC issue, where none of this matters.
Right, it really is, all up to the
Yeah,
DEC with that
Kind of.
wetland.
Yeah.
So and then we have, once that's all done, we're working on the timber bridge design right now,
Mhm.
and then we'll be able to finish the SWIP and adjust all the numbers
Okay.
for impervious and all that stuff to make everything match up, but we gotta get the answer from DEC first.
So how long do you think that'll take?
It's supposed to be today,
Oh,
but
Yeah, I think we got their attention.
Yeah.
Because they approved it 2 years ago. They told us we were good to go when the permits were required.
So how do you come to a middle ground?
You know,
Well, I don't think there's middle ground on this one. We did have a site that there was a compromise, but this isn't one of the compromises that is very effective. Really, any portion of this that comes DEC with 100-foot buffer eliminates that whole area from contention, and then it's gonna be the whole site, so.
So what are you gonna do?
So we submitted the letter that we received from the DC in 2020, along with their latest letter, and just said, can you please explain what the contradiction is? They said that they emailed us on Thursday, and said, give us a day or two to respond. So they're reviewing it.
Oh, you're hopeful?
I'm hopeful. And I mean, we have that first letter explicitly states that they were not going to take jurisdiction.
No Article 24 purposes, where we sent them a site plan, we sent them our walk wetlands, we sent them the boundary of their wetlands of where it was. We laid out some of the things that they typically use in their same jurisdiction and our viewpoint that they don't have it here.
So really, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The rest is minor stuff.
Yeah.
And it's the same person that wrote the letter.
Hmm.
Good.
Good, well, yeah, so that person's not reviewing it. this time.
Yeah.
The response was, this person's gonna look at it this time, basically what they told us. So,
Hopefully they don't engage.
well, yeah, so, no,
Yeah.
then like, you have to make some phone calls.
I might vote for your career.
So other than the front setback requirement, did you have any other concerns? What B&L or the county had to say?
No, actually, the letter was very straightforward, minus the DEC thing. I think we'll be able to address all their comments, no problem. And the only comment, if I could make it, is the next step for us that's crucial is locking in the incentive for the project to the state. When we do that, we have to have site plan approval and a nag deck.
I
The
don't
site,
know what they meant that.
sorry.
Negative
declaration.
declaration.
Part two.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, we understand that special use permit can be conditional, so all of this stuff can be added as a condition, so we can't pull a building permit. But I just would relay that to the town, that if the time comes where maybe some of the minor conditions aren't completed yet, if you'd be amenable to moving forward the conditional special use permit, and then we can apply for the incentive,
Well-
assuming the DEC comes back favorable.
B&L is looking at drafting part 2 and part 3 the secret for us.
Okay,
And they should have those results to us mid this week.
okay,
So if there's
I
no,
would imagine DC answer probably.
so if there's no major issues, then we can meet on Monday,
okay,
just to, do your part 2 and part 3 the secret.
sure.
And like you said, we can do it with conditions, but that'll get at least that part done.
Yes, that would-
Then you can finish up your application process and answer all the minor stuff. Hopefully you'll get the DEC results, if you said,
so.
within the next couple of days, right before the end of the week.
Yeah, I think we'll probably want that to be part 2. I mean, I'm assuming right now they're gonna say, well, impact state wetlands part 2. until they-
Well, yeah,
Someone
that's
says
what's
they are.
really the big deal, right?
So,
You don't have to travel up. What? No, you can, would you tell them that? Yeah, that's fine.
No, I don't, because of part 2 and 3,
We can do that.
and in order to hypothetically approve with condition that we have to have the part 2.
Is this the species list? Is that just for format? What do you think? In other words, not only with wetlands, but then the fish and wildlife, you want a species list? You're not looking for. Yeah.
I think that came in with that DEC letter. I think they made, right?
When we declared ourselves as lead agency.
Yes. That was their
Oh,
response
yeah,
to
that
it.
was the response. I remember
Yeah,
quickly reviewing that. Mhm.
but that's just a,
Yeah, there were a couple of things that DEC and others wanted you to address as well.
Yeah, I think this first species we addressed that. They should have noted on there, I think, for the stormwater future project plan, and that'll be taken care of in the direction.
So your stormwater prevention won't be 100% until the bridge.
Right, we need the bridge because that
the way we regrade that changes all of the quantities on impervious. So we're working on that now. Gotta pull that culvert out. Return that stream to free flow for the bridge.
Oh, there's a culvert there.
There is now.
You put one in.
We didn't get
You did put a culvert.
No,
Oh, there.
So we need to put that back the way it was the first time. It's just a stream, I think we had to go.
he was looking for access to the other side.
And you'll follow up with the fire department as well, right?
I'm sorry, who?
The fire
Oh,
department.
yeah.
Anything else? So some of it's just detail.
Yeah.
Biggest thing is food, like we said. And hopefully that'll come through.
Can I ask a very stupid question? What
What?
is, in other words, gravel, what makes gravel both pervious and impervious?
So the way
Is that
it's,
the underlayment?
the gravel itself, so if the gravel is, say a number 2 mix, it's all very large stone with no fines. So
Right.
water can penetrate, no issue, even if you. come
Okay,
off
so it's
this.
just the size of the.
That's
part,
right,
okay.
yeah. It's a
I'm like,
composition. of the
because
mix.
it goes
Yeah.
back and forth here on what they're saying with the gravel road.
Right,
that's
so
going to
we
the
have 2 different
wetlands,
gravel
and that
roads.
has to be pervious as opposed to the. Okay, got it.
We have 2 different gravel roads. We have the approved pervious DEC style for our facility, within our facility of 12 foot wide. And then this first stretch out into utility poles that National Grid uses, we have a standard 12-inch thick National
Okay, then
Grid
that will
road,
be-
because they won't accept less than that.
Got
So
it. Okay,
that portion does not meet DEC criteria for being pervious, because it is a mix that gets solid, whereas the pervious
Right.
road is a set, consistent stone size that these voids, water can go through, and there's a grid in it, them from becoming compacted. But in our SWIP, just so you know, too much, we consider it all impervious in our stormwater counts, because the reality is at some point, 25 years from now, there's gonna be a certain amount of dirt, dust, and fines that get into that road, and it's not gonna be impervious like it was. We always consider them impervious, to
Okay.
conserve it with our stormwater. Even though it's built.
So you put fabric under all of your gravel? That's the standard.
Yeah. And when we respond to DNL's letter, we'll make sure they understand that, because when they look in the SWIFT, the impervious calcs include the whole road, even though we have pervious details for a good chunk of it. We still consider it impervious. Certainly.
That's probably good.
Yeah, it's like, it just, I mean, there's dust and dirt in the air, the guy's still farming next door, right? It's not gonna stay perfectly pervious, or nothing going in the gaps or anything.
And
for years.
we wet it down as you build the road.
Dust control.
So it doesn't-
Yeah, they'll do all those standards. There'll be a construction, really back one out onto the road. Dust control for new roads and stormwater control, one of our specifications.
So you don't have to you won't have to get a permit from the state DOT. Because
In this case, no.
because of the,
No, I've been keeping an eye on it, but no. Yeah, I can add it.
Yeah, you can add it, you can add it. I
Either
didn't
way.
think of it.
No worries.
You do the Google Drive?
We take turns.
Yeah.
He does most of it, but if there's something that I catch, I'll throw it in there. But he's done most of it. Yes, that makes sense.
It's helpful.
Yeah. Well, and just
I
like,
couldn't figure out which one was which and which.
well, that's the thing, like
So it was good.
me sending.
It's usually a local supplier,
information,
contractor.
I sent them what I was, not what was last year. so
Can't think of the name of one that.
Right.
Pretty hard to find.
Yeah.
All right.
Amenable to sheet grazing. I think we talked a little bit about it before, but is it too wet?
If the local, if pollinator, if we can get a food source for them, it would be, I'm in conversations with that right now. With then the owner team to see what they think of that too. So I saw that as a comment, if it is something I'm bringing it up.
Well, we like some agricultural use, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all we're looking for, I think, both the county and the board.
Okay.
They are putting their fences only an inch and a half from the ground, so
For grazing.
that's likely to have a time.
Mhm.
But you did say last time, if I remember, you were going to look to hire, you subcontract out the brush hogging or mowing. something.
That's typically what happens. Yeah. The sheep grazer would actually take the place of that.
Right.
So I'm working on to see if we could take the O and M, take it from mechanical vehicles, bring it over to sheep.
Well, we got the sheep raising on our mind because it's somehow it's proposed. But, you know, I'm thinking that the sheep raising doesn't have to happen right away. I don't know how to think about this. So maybe do brush hogging for a few years.
Well, I mean, this is my opinion only, but I think within a couple of years, it's gonna be mandatory on all sites that it's sheep grazing. I don't think it's gonna be an option. That's my opinion.
But the infrastructure up here is not here yet. We're not ready for that sheep raising.
Yeah.
There's companies that are out there, that's, that
I know, but they're not here, right?
they
They
like
would-
lease it out, like, so, like, they would sign a lease with the company, who then provides the sheep, and brings them up, puts them on site.
That'd be complicated.
They would handle it. I'd have to get off the board.
So just a thought, if there's more than one solar facility in Canton, especially the large one coming on Ridge Road, and they're thinking of sheep.
Yeah.
You know, they'll do sheep, I'm sure. Can't you use their sheep?
Some kind of.
You know what I mean?
Borrow a couple sheep.
And they have a contract with all the different places. Move the sheep around. But it takes quite a few sheep to keep down the solar array. So
Yeah,
That big one is 240 megawatts.
yeah,
A lot of sheep.
2,000.
lot of sheep. Yeah. that's-
yeah.
So maybe we
They may take
I don't know.
Well, this is a learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
sheep for rent.
Southern tier, it's become more popular because there's a company, I
Right,
think it's called
No goats.
Solar Sheep Grazing. That's what they specialize in.
right.
And the woman, she's based down in Wichita.
Yep.
She does training. She's got stock of her own. So
Yeah, listen to a webinar from her. That was all, you could see there was way in place.
yeah,
Way ahead.
Wearing solar panels.
Okay. Good memory.
Even bees, even bees, like honeybees. Something. like that. Maybe she buys one that area because it's so well.
Yeah.
But maybe bees will work, especially if you put in a pollinator.
yeah, they mow it so frequently.
I'm just raising sheep for people to buy to do their raising. So most of mine are going now.
So I think as soon as you hear something from the DEC, and we,
Send out your communication.
Sure,
Right.
sure.
that's gonna be,
I saw they responded. They were good about CC people on there. So I'm gonna make sure that you get whatever response.
He's a key person that he distributes it.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Whoever needs to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
so your stormwater is gonna be updated.
Yeah.
And your O and M is gonna be updated.
O and M is good. There was a couple comments at the last meeting for O and M. They verified that everything was okay in there. And then we just updated the names for the contact list on the back. So we shouldn't need, oh, I'm sorry, yes, it will be updated. We'll give
We have
you
an updated version. you have seen.
Yeah.
Same thing with the decommissioning plan. We have an estimate.
Okay.
We did the itemized list.
Perfect.
Well, just rather than bury tables, we'll just put it all together at once.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
as soon as you get it to us.
Yeah.
Then we'll try to act on things.
Okay.
I think we'll try to be pretty prompt.
Mike, would you mind just because of my ignorance, you said something looking for an incentive, then you threw a whole bunch of letters after that.
Oh,
Could you do that again?
yeah. I'll explain you the program. I don't want to take too much time, but it's called the megawatt block incentive. And it's based on how many megawatts you're proposing, based on a DC size of the system. So New York State provides an upfront adder for construction costs to try to help alleviate some of the high costs of the project to support renewables. Is really why they're doing it. So it's called a depleting block. Say right now, the block is at 15 cents per watt. They give you 15 cents once you sign up and you get approved. And they added 350 megawatts to that block. Once that's fully allocated, then it drops down. Next one's gonna be 12 cents. So every time it drops down, we're losing potential money for the project.
So it's a time clock.
It's when projects apply and they take that away.
Oh,
It's a
So
set
it is a
amount.
time megawatt. Yeah.
What?
There's a set amount of megawatts. When they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
Then you drop to the next.
So they click off
Yeah.
on the
As
calendar.
projects come in. So like, if this project, there's 3 other projects right now in front of Mike at 6 megawatts each, there's 18 megawatts gone off that block. And they lock them in as soon as they get their special use permit, site plan approval, whatever, their secret neg deck and the local approval locks them in. They don't have to have building permits out to build it. They have to show them they've been through the zoning process, and their neg deck, and that they're have a real project, then they're locked into that setup.
So they're not like what NIMO does. You call NIMO, we want to lock in at 4.5 megawatts at this address, and they lock you in, and you don't even have anything yet. They're just locking. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
What the, so the reasoning for that depleting structure, when they came up with that, they thought that the solar industry was gonna have an exponential growth of technology, which it is, growing at a rapid rate. But while that was growing, costs would go down. So they thought as costs come down, so would the incentive that they're offering. Well, right now, we're not in a position where costs are going down. Well, I mean, they're going up at a rapid rate. I know you've all seen
But
that.
part of what they did with even the private things, where originally when you first came in and you looked at putting it in your systems, you got X amount on your incentives back, and then, that went, you know, and then the second round, and then the third.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
same
because we put in,
structure.
I have a 92 panel system, and we're very happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with it. And I came in greedy, not in the beginning, but
Pretty
pretty
close.
close.
So you got some of the higher
Yeah,
incentives.
yeah.
And that's what they're doing
Did
through
you
these
hear somebody at the
programs.
door?
Yeah.
That was Brianna.
Still confusing, but that's fine. I thank you for that.
Well, if, I could call you too.
No, it's good. I mean, just all these little gears in place.
Yeah, there's a
You
lot.
know, for being a new guy on the block.
So it doesn't sound like a lot, right? 15 cents per 12
Oh,
cents, but it's 3 cents per watt,
Yeah.
5 million watts.
Yeah.
7, well,
7
6.
on the 6 on the BC side, so that's like $180,000.
So right off the top, 180,000 lost.
That's a lot of pressure on you.
Yes.
You don't.
And in a sense, because it, well, although.
That's for the entire town. 180.
The 180,
No, that's for his construction costs.
That's
on
the-
Oh,
Construction
listen to
cost.
IT.
So they basically will reimburse them 15 cents to make the switch to like.
Sorry.
Here?
No,
uh,
I
yeah.
couldn't wait.
Oh,
We're good.
That's
to know the particular.
That's why getting the local approvals is important.
Yeah.
And at least getting the conditional understanding. It doesn't mean you have to have a building permit or you're ready to start. But you have to be able to show them the real project that is fits the local process.
Right.
Actually, going to lock in your rate.
Thank you.
So we have a plan to move forward. The public doesn't seem to be concerned about this project. We'll close it to the public. I thought we'd get somebody was gonna be there in favor of it or not in favor of it, but here we are.
The only one that contacted me on it is when I met with the hospital.
I have somebody lined up for that, for subscriptions. I'm just waiting for them to call me. A company called Canton. They do subscription services. I reached out to them. I said, I have a hospital near one of my projects. I said, we can have them subscribe. So once they reach out to me, I can get them signed up pretty quickly.
They just asked me. They said, where can we see it? I'm like, way over there. They thought they could see it right from,
Oh,
So
I'm
that
sorry.
concern was just the visual.
Yeah.
but then they started talking, have to be green, they have to have initiative for green infrastructure and everything.
Yeah, we can get them signed up. For a hospital, 10%, pretty significant.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that
Building
you
a
came
60
today, even though.
These are the kind of public hearings we love.
Yeah, I bet.
Traveled a long way to come. We appreciate it.
Well, they're really nice.
Yeah. So we'll close the meeting.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Yeah, so that's our plan, and hopefully we'll be able to do the speaker on Monday.
We'll plan to attend.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thanks for the
Thank you
exchange.
coming.
Any recommendations for dinner? There.
Sure. I would go to 1844 House.
Okay.
which is-
Nice place.
Fast, or you can do that.
No, this went really quick. So.
You're spending a night tonight, right?
Oh, no, we're going back.
Where's home?
Syracuse.
Oh, Syracuse.
So you'll be heading that way. I'm trying to think. Everything I know is that way.
Between,
Silverleaf?
Silverleaf.
Oh, Silverleaf Fire, oh my God, talk
It's on the
about.
way, it's on the way.
Talk about whatever.
Is it in?
Sure,
Oh,
wonderful.
Sit down
Yeah.
here.
Right in.
No, it's
No,
not.
right on Route 11.
On Route 11.
You can't miss it.
Yes,
Where it
Yes.
is.
it's better than Turtles.
What's
Yeah.
it? So
Backwards.
Silverleaf.
I'm gonna end this.